Hey guys, it's like a sauna in there. You excited, Dwayne? Is this exciting?
Actually, I'm intrigued. Everything we do with you is exciting.
I have Dwayne with me, and anytime I include Dwayne, it's a big deal. It's a big thing. We're moving something big. We got the truck, we got the trailer. So we spoke with the guys at Armtech. They were interested in my project. They actually saw the Hobbit house build, and they were like, let's give this guy another culvert to see what he does. We're here at Armtech, which is the guys that make the giant culverts, and they're letting me pick one. They said, you know what, Kevin, have a look and pick whatever one you want. And I'm like, wow, these are crazy big. Look at the size of these things. We've got some load restrictions, basically on how big we can carry, so we're gonna try to get one that fits on our trailer in order to get it home today. But look at these things, raised bed gardens. Like there's all sorts of ideas for these things. North American wide, you can look these guys up, Armtech. We're gonna put a link down in the description for all your pipe culvert needs. We're gonna load up our trailer and off we go. First step of our sauna. We're gonna build a sauna. Is it on?
There, basically.
This stuff is cool. I'm in a big pipe. I'm in a big pipe. Big pipe. Big pipe. What do you think, Dwayne?
I think it's a little bit bigger than I anticipated.
A little bit bigger? It's big pipe.
Bend over. It's definitely an adventure this morning.
That's insane. That thing is huge. Here, can we see it? I don't know if we can see it. Might be too bright. We got we got a huge pipe.
Yeah, we got a huge pipe.
Nobody's gonna complain about the size of my pipe anymore. We got to get this thing back safely and get this thing offloaded. I'm not sure how we're gonna offload this thing.
That's gonna be the challenge.
That's gonna be interesting.
I think it's gonna involve a little bit of dumping, a little bit of lifting, and a lot of luck. Well, gravity does work.
Oh, it's going already. Let's go. We don't know how to unload it. We can't lift it. We have no machinery that lift it. So what we're gonna do? What are we gonna do, Dwayne?
Well, we're gonna use gravity, I think. We're just gonna tip it up, dump it, and really hope for the best.
There's nothing we could do anyway, so there's nothing we can't stop it. We can't lift it. We probably roll it once it's on the ground. There's nothing we could do but watch. Let's watch this and see what happens. It'll be fun. Well, it's gonna fall. Well, that sounds scary.
Okay, this is gonna be exciting.
You know what we need? We need a strap with top.
And give it a little bit of a tug.
A little bit of tug. We gotta get the old tractor out.
I think so.
You wanna just give her a push? That'll probably cut you in half.
I'm thinking it would.
Oh, it's going! It's going! You know what? We need that. Use that. Yeah. No, you're bored. Well, we're ready. Ready to do this. What are you doing? We're prying it. Prying it. Big old tin can. Nope.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, she's gonna go. That worked better than we thought. Another fine day at the off-grid cabin in the woods. Dwayne's here. And whenever Dwayne's here, we're gonna do something a little crazy.
Yeah.
All right, the plan today is to move a giant pipe. And you're like, why are you moving a giant pipe, Kevin? And the reason we're moving a giant pipe today is because winter is kind of settled in. You can see our snow's on the ground and we're starting to think warm thoughts. The warmest thought I can think of is let's make a sauna. We've got this culvert. It's 9 foot in diameter, 9 feet long, and it weighs a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why Dwayne's here. So Dwayne and I we're gonna try to manage this culvert down the trail to its final location right next to the pond, right over there, without getting squished. That is
putting it in the water.
Yeah, it's not going for a swim.
The plan.
What's the plan? No swimming of the culvert.
The biggest part is coming down this little section here. Coming from where it's right now where we dropped it off isn't a big deal, but I think when we get to here, that old stump and this little bit of a valley is going to be kind of challenging, so.
Well, you know, if you're gonna fail quickly, right?
Or big.
Yeah. It
Spectacular.
It is a culvert. It is designed to have water in it. Yeah. So if it does end up in the pond, it's its natural habitat. All right, let's see if we can get this thing rolling. Well, I think we can get it rolling. It's getting it stopped.
Getting it stopped.
Roll in. What do you think of that tree doing?
I think it's a big tree.
So we're just surveying site conditions, and we've discovered there is a giant ash tree. And the ash tree is a little dead, and it's standing kind of where we want to put our culvert. We can knock that down later. They love it when I do that. Culvert in place, and that should, everything will work out. Okay, we got it 25 feet. No, we got a little bit further than that, but we've got it in the bush. And it's rolling down the hill. When we don't want it to roll down the hill. So we're gonna reposition our chain. Probably tug it from the other way. And hopefully get it so it doesn't go down the hill when we don't want it to.
You gonna stay inside it?
I don't know. Did it go? Did it go? Go ahead.
What I'm worried about is if we turn it the other way, if we keep rolling it, it's going to want to roll really fast. And it's going to go over there, and that's where we don't want it. And I'm wondering if we can keep sliding it.
And just keep the sticks underneath it.
Keep the sticks underneath it and keep sliding it until we get it up there, and then let it
Yeah.
go.
We're going to
tree
slide
bowling.
it up there?
Well,
Because we have to go like up here. And
yeah, but that's our biggest that's our biggest entrance down for tree bowling.
oh yeah? It's hard to illustrate slope, anything to do with cameras, so we're trying to show where there's a big incline on the trail, and because of the snow, we're worried about it actually just kind of bowling down there, and that's really difficult to get it out. So we're gonna keep moving our wood in order to keep it from rolling that way. Introduce Les. This is my buddy Les. He heard about our shenanigans and said, let's go bowling in the forest. If Les goes down the hill, we're gonna videotape it, and then we're gonna record the ambulance showing up to get Les out of the bushes. I would load him up on the tractor bucket. He'll be okay. Maybe you should get in there and roll down it.
No.
Come on. Hear that? And for the record, Les said he would go down if his foot didn't hurt. All right, so we got it here, and as you can see, it's big. So we're gonna send it. We're gonna send it down the hill and see what happens. Is it going now?
It's going now.
How about now?
How about now?
You're just gonna send it.
I'm gonna send it. It's not actually gonna go that far.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I was gonna go down the hill, was it?
No, it's not. It's gotta come back.
It's hitting a tree.
What's it on?
A big one. A big tree. So close. But about 3 inches of hard maple. What do I want you to say? What are we doing here, Joe?
Oh, we're taking this dead ash down because it just happened to grow right beside this culvert. This steel culvert, it just grew there, and Kev wants to build something out of this, so it's under it.
I always call Joe when there's a tree that's quite a little bit too big. I don't have the saw. If I had the saw, maybe I'd go for it. So
500 will help.
Ooh, MS 500. Ooh, that's a big one. So what was it, kiwi?
Oh yeah, I guess we're gonna kiwi flop it. I guess that's the term. We've got a couple cedars notched in preparation for it to go. into them and they'll go at the same time.
So we're gonna domino these other trees that are in the way. That's the official plan. We're gonna see if we can stick to it.
Right.
And like I said, this tree is dead. It's been long dead. It's just kind of standing there. We're just assessing. So there shouldn't be any collateral. We should get those rocks out of the way.
Ready?
Yeah.
Like a glove.
Yeah, buddy.
That went nice.
That's perfect.
Okay, hold on.
You gonna give her a little tickle?
Look at it.
Yeah, she wants to go. She's like caught on like a friggin' 1 inch branch.
It's probably the cedar a bit too.
Oh yeah, I think it's holding.
And maybe that. You ready?
Yeah. Nice. And so we've got those monkeys off our back above our sauna because we didn't want to get crushed. Joe from JL's Tree Service is a good friend of mine, so he came out and fixed that up for me. So we don't have crazy tree gonna squish us.
Monkey's on our back.
That's right. There's a big ash monkey.
That
A
just
big-
happened to grow right by that big piece of tubing. It just grew there.
All right. Well, thanks Joe from JL's Tree Service. You guys can check him out if you're ever in Canada and you need a tree taken down. I know there's a lot of guys in the States watching us. You guys got a lot of ash in the States too, I bet.
Yeah, they're just getting into that.
Are you guys getting into that in
I
the
think.
States?
Well, that's been going on for a while, but I think certain places it's starting to happen worse now.
Yeah, like Michigan, Ohio. Have a look at your ash. Make sure your ash are healthy.
Smash your ash.
Smash your ash whenever they're dead. Hey boys, you guys excited? I'm excited. We got another day, and it's I think winter has finally settled in. I don't know, maybe it'll rain tomorrow. Who knows? Dawn's back. How many layer day today?
It's another 4-layer day.
It's a 4-layer day today. The blood's got to get thicker soon. Whew, it's cold. We knocked down our the ash trees that were threatening our sauna build, and now we're gonna cut these guys up. We're going to use them in the build. The plan is to grab this big guy right here and cut it into 12 or 13 foot long log, and then yank it out of here with the old Kubota up to the mill so we can mill it up into to planks in order to cover this cover our culvert. We don't know if the this little girl's got enough power to pull her, so we're gonna give it a whirl. You know what? The byproduct of all this removing of the dead trees is firewood, so that's always good when you can harvest firewood in the process of grabbing wood. So it's using what we have to make what we want. Let's get going. It's getting cold. I'm gonna put you guys up here, you can watch. Whenever I'm coming up with an idea or a plan, I'd like to look at what I'm working with in order to determine what I need. In this case, this guy is 9'6" in diameter. Now, when I'm cutting up my log, I gotta anticipate the fact that I need to have an overhang, kind of like a sitting area in front of this guy. I'm going to cut my log appropriate length, but then I gotta look at the diameter, the circumference of this thing. If I go with a board much wider than, let's say, stick to the relatively narrow, not so wide board in order to make my circumference to maintain the circle culvert. Again, it's cold. Let's get cutting. You know what? If we get that thing actually to the mill, we can't actually lift it on the mill. I think we're just going to use the log that's already up there for this particular one, and this one will be a fight for another day because, as you can see, it's heavy. It's big. This is because I'm more stubborn than a log. This I've been working on for a little while. It's a log lift out of a decommissioned tombstone cart. You may notice, if you guys watched the original cabin build, my brother and I were using these sets of wheels here. These sets of wheels, that's not even the right word either. This axle here for basically carrying logs or putting on top of it. But I then designed a system where I'm going to use this as a log arch. And we're going to pick it up, in theory. This is the first time we've ever used this. And necessity is the mother of all invention. So this thing, in theory, grabs the log like this with these tongs, lifts it out of the dirt, and we'll be able to carry it up to the mill. In theory. Let's try it. Oh yeah, look at that. Holy! It's gonna fire me down the hill. Oh, look at that. That log lift, log arch worked pretty good. It's a little bent, so I think we're gonna go a little bit. We're gonna go back to the drawing board on this guy, maybe get some heavier gauge steel. I'll talk to my welder, see what he thinks, because it probably deserves some square tubing, some really thick wall square tubing, in order to get this thing so it doesn't bend when we, and we're kind of pushing and pulling and twisting and stuff. So probably better is if you just pulled it straight and not try to maneuver the log as much as we did. This is heavier than the log. Okay, let's just turn it. Track is left and at me. After our unsuccessful attempt yesterday at loading that giant log, I've kind of retooled my idea of what we're going to clad the outside of this culvert with. My current plan is to harvest these dead standing cedar trees. These are all just kind of poles that are standing everywhere. They're just forest firewood. So the plan is to harvest those guys, and I'm gonna tuk all the way around the culvert that way. Kind of like two birds, one stone sort of technique. It's going to clean up the forest of all the dead standing, and it's going to allow me to actually clad the outside of this thing so it doesn't look like a culvert, as much as I like looking at culverts. Culverts are awesome. But again, I want to have it aesthetically pleasing as well as functional. Yeah, we're going to harvest a lot of these 4-inch diameter standing sticks, cut them up 12 feet long, and that allows us to give us our overhang, a lot of structural support that way, and great success. Only solutions to our problems, not necessarily just problems, just solutions. Shouldn't take that many. It's only 28 feet in diameter. How many sticks is that? Make your guess down below. How many sticks? Right there. So this looks like a rock, but it isn't. It's frozen ground. We're gonna let the barrel do its job for a little while and thaw out the ground, so we gotta have sand or dirt to work with, so because we have to level it, the cylinder, the culvert. Otherwise it's no bueno, we slide right into the pond. So we'll let that thaw out a little bit, and then we'll be able to rake it out and fix the grade. Working in the winter is especially difficult. The tool that has saved my tail on this guy is the old hookaroon. The Whiskey River Tool Company sent me. It also works as a ripper hooker for the human. Ugh. Anyways, we ended up chipping out about 3 inches of the frozen stuff on top in order to level our culvert. So now we've got it pretty much level. We can start putting the exterior cladding on and actually make it look like we've got some progress. We've got like 2 days into this thing where we really haven't, we've pushed it one way, pushed it the other way, pushed it one way, pushed it the other way, and start farting around with mud and dirt and snow and freezing and rain and carrying on. So we got our wood down here. We've got piles and piles and piles of cedar poles, and these were all standing dead in the bush that we ended up harvesting and collecting. We've got them all down here. So half the battle is getting all the material you need on site in order to actually get progress made. So we've got the material on site. We've got the culvert more or less level. Now we can start stacking them on. This is the fun part. Progress. It's interesting. See, look at the pond. See the pond there? Like it's got a weird melting area there. I wonder if that's where the spring is. It's gonna be like the surprise when you're skating. We're making some pretty good progress putting these posts on. What we're finding is that when we put the log onto the building, we actually can rotate it slightly in order to maintain, I guess, flat and true. So there's not big old gaps between the boards. Not like you're gonna see much of it anyways, because over time there'll be, crud and whatnot collecting inside there. It'll darken the bright. Your eye's kind of drawn to the light. Like even if you took the little bark and stuffed it in there, it would probably disappear. So that's the idea, is to try to give it that cladding look. I really like the look of it so far. Like a big barrel or a beaver dam or something. What does it look like, Don? A long house? Could be a long house. It's a log house. It's a long log house. And it's really cool is over here, this little area here, you kind of have the natural kind of like lounging area. You can kind of, it's so relaxing. Well, if there was a chair here, it'd be a little more relaxing. A little bench, and you kind of have a Adirondack or a Muskoka chair kind of feel. You know what? A nice little hammock right in front of the sauna would be cool too. You can kind of clip one side or the other when you're cooling off. Yeah, starting to look like something. And you know what's neat is the sun decided to come out today, which is always welcome. About minus 12 Canadian today. And you know what's interesting? Let me show you something interesting. The pond seems to not want to freeze. There seems to be a hole that goes all the way down. Everywhere else is frozen, but there's a hole right there. Maybe it's not going to be a ice rink after all. Maybe it'll be like a putting rink, where you kind of put your golf ball into the hole in the water. Or that's just like the hazard. Don't fall in the water. Don't fall in the hole. It's cold. Well, another thing that actually keeps us pretty warm is our barrel fire. That if you can make a fire, Don will come and he'll help because he likes to burn things. The favoriteest thing of Don. Some people like to drink. Don likes to burn things. We should drink while burning things. Yeah. Yeah. Our supply of poles is dwindling, but Don's convinced. Well, he's kind of half hoping that we got enough logs in order to do it. We should have a trivia or a guess. You guys should guess how many logs are on this thing. We haven't counted them yet, so we don't exactly know. But we're gonna count them at the end to make sure we'll figure it out. You go behind you, eh? You got it? Yep. As you guys know, the price of lumber these days is astronomical. So whenever you find 2x4s on the side of the road, like I did with these guys, pick them up. They were at a roofing company and they were sitting out front, free to go home. So these are they're 2x4s, about 9 feet long, and they're still in skid form. So they got cross members, they got nails. They're not quite straight, so I'm gonna reuse them. But the best way to reuse them is to take them apart, obviously. So we found if we lay them out and we lay a piece of 4x4 underneath them and whack at them with reckless abandon in order to knock the cross members out, and then we can denail them afterwards. We can reuse these guys, saving us a whole pile of money. Right now, I guess, what is the price of 2x4? Just under $10 a 2x4, which is insane. We got basically $40 a piece, a skid. 4 2x4s times $10 a piece. Oh yeah, my brother came by, the Wooded Beardsman. He's got his own channel, little channel. You can go check it out.
Roped into doing work.
Roped into doing work. We should film this because this is a rarity. That's Chris over at the Wooded Beardsman. You can check him out. He's more eating than a doing. Well, he still does stuff. He just eats it when he's done. All right, let's get some wood. Let's get some wood denailed.
Too much talking.
Come on, go pick it up.
Too much talking.
He's a strong guy. He can probably lift that by himself. Well, I figured I'd bring you guys up to speed a little bit on this. I've been working on this for a couple of hours already this morning, and the rain and snow has decided to come back. My arch nemesis, the rain in the winter. I don't like rain in the winter. I don't like rain in the summer either. But anyway, so what we're doing is we're closing in the end walls. As much fun as it is to close in end walls on a round building, you got to think outside the box, because it's not a box, it's a cylinder. What I've got is these things. I'm not sure what they are. They're brackets for garage doors, and the garage door guy happens to have a lot of them. I don't know if they come with spare parts, but needless to say, they come to me because they're extra. So what I've ended up doing is actually tacking them up all the way around. This gives me something to attach a 2x4 to, which is going to be my structure for my wall. And I've lagged those in with self-tapping screws, and then I'm going to stick frame the wall. As easy as that sounds on a round building, much like the Hobbit house, just a little bit bigger because we're 9 feet tall. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see the laser? So that allows me to measure from this point down at the bottom to this point up at the top. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but this is a useful tool when it comes to leveling anything that's weird, or in this case, plumbing anything that's weird shaped. This is a laser level. It allows me to actually position this guy. Can you see that? Give you guys laser eye surgery. This is a laser. It allows it to shoot a plumb line up and down. It also shoots a horizontal laser level, a level line. So this is what I'm going to use to actually measure and cut the studs that are going to frame up the back wall. Now that we've got our wall framed up, I'm going to sheet the outside of it with RX board, which is in my neck of the woods called code board. It's a 1-inch piece of foil-backed foam insulation. Gives you an R value of about 6. So I picked this up at a Steel at on my local store, hardware store, and then it actually was storm damage. I guess it was blowing around in the wind or a tornado. I don't know. It's beat up, but in this application, as long as you're careful when you install it and you fill out your gaps with spray foam afterwards and you tape all your joints, it pretty much gives you an airtight seal. When putting any of your sheeting material on, it's a good idea to plumb up your first sheet or level it, and that allows you to give you a straight edge for the next piece. And if you're going to be measuring off of it, if it's straight up and down, it makes putting every other piece in easier. Well, I'm pretty excited. I found a log I can pick up with my little tractor, my Kubota BX23. I found one. I think it's the maximum capacity. I ended up using a little piece of wood on the edge of the mill in order to kind of pry it up there. It just kind of canted it up a little bit, and hey, we got ourselves a 9-foot log. A 9-foot log by about 12 inches in diameter. It's heavy. It's an ash log, and what I'm planning to do with this log is to mill it up into a 1/2 inch thick lap siding, and that's going to go on the front and back of the sauna, kind of to match everything else. And the thing with the ash is it turns nice and gray when it's weathered. So does cedar. So it is a hardwood. I do have it on a couple other pieces. On the front of the cabin, I have the shake siding, and that's weathered really well. You know, if you got to use what you have to make what you want to do. And in this case, I have a lot of ash logs. There's going to be ash logs 10 years into the future because that emerald ash borer is killing all the trees. So there is a lot of ash right now that you can use. We're gonna mill this guy up. It's gonna give us a lot of material out of that one log. All right, here comes the fun part. This is the installation of the flooring. Does it look like we're installing the floor yet? We're making a level area for the floor, and anytime you're dealing with an odd shape, it always helps to use as much technology as you possibly can. And in this case, I'm using a laser level. So I've got my laser level set up here, and it's shooting a line here, and I want my floor to be about 6 feet across, finished. So what I've done is I've actually measured it out. Where's my tape measure? Doesn't matter. I've measured it out. It's about 6 feet to the edge of the actual culvert. Actually 6 foot 1 inches, because I'm going to line this with 1 inch foam on both sides in order to give me thermal break. So this guy, if you can see, so I line that guy up, touching the laser on both sides, and I've actually drawn a line. So line there, line here, and then I cut it and I can sit it on top of my plate, and that gives me a level space. I want it to be 6 feet across because I want to use the curve of the building itself for a backrest. Because if it's 6 feet of floor space, I'll be able to put a chair around this height, so about 16 inches off the floor, and then I'll still have a nice backrest on the back wall, and it'll give me ample space in the middle to either put like a table or a sitting area, because this is going to be a multi-use space. It's going to work as a sauna if you really want it hot, and if you want just a place to relax because you're done skating on the pond or something like that, and you want to come in and warm up, you can do that as well. And you could double up as a, if you have your bench or your table up top, you could actually sleep on both sides in theory, or you could have lunch. You guys may have noticed that there's lacking of a bottom plate underneath the doors at the very bottom of the culvert, and I did that for a reason. And my reason is if there's any condensation that forms on the outside of the culvert or the inside of the culvert, but behind my installation, it's going to run down and it's going to find the lowest point, and then it's going to run out. That's my theory, anyways. You know what? I could cut a vent hole on both sides, and then it could just like blow like a wind tunnel. Place for mice to hide. We're finally starting to look like something, guys. We got our windows in. That's exciting. You're like, why did you get your windows in? You don't have your wall in. You know what? It's easier to just kind of what you got, because everything's kind of a little bit off, and you got to work with it. So it's easier to throw the window in place and then frame around it. I happen to have these windows left over, and it sounds like a broken record. I got all these things. It's true, I do. Like these are laying in the bush. You can see the dirt is on them. It's it's good. It's good that they have a home now. You can see that the opening is actually, it's nice and covered here. It's gonna start looking pretty decent. My high school teacher reached out to me. My communication technology teacher reached out to me, and she says, "I have a curved shower door, and if anybody can use it, it's you, because you're a creative guy." And I went, "I will take it." So we got it down here, and it turns out it wasn't a door; it was a panel. Thanks, Cheryl. So that was the plan originally, was to do a curved glass shower door on the front of it, and it doesn't work because it's just a panel, it's not a door. The idea is to have the benches on the side here, and you'll be able to look out the window. And what's interesting, what's actually cool, is I've got a window that actually opens, so if it gets a little too hot in here, you can crank the window. I can open the door, jump in the pond. Yeah, it's starting to get somewhere. I like it. Progress! The good thing about kind of building yourself and having complete control of the entire build is the ability to take the windows out in order to scribe your wood. So the wood was installed loosely, and then what I did was I actually popped the windows out and then scribed a line, and then used my chainsaw, and I was able to cut exactly the opening of the window. And then I was able to reinstall the windows and actually push them out flush where the lap siding is. And what I mean by where it's flush the lap siding is that I can basically put my trim on the outside and have it flush on the lap siding, because as you know, it's got the proud and then the not so proud. But it's really hard to kind of guess where your window is supposed to be before your insulation's on and your lap siding's on. So it's good to have the ability to be able to move it and install it afterwards. Another good reason why you should adjust the window once you've got your lap siding is you only have to do jam build outs on one side. And what I mean about a jam build out is if this wasn't flush with the siding, I'd have to actually build the material out. You can see I have a little bit of a lip, but then I have to put my interior cladding on, and then you get your jam build out that'll extend it to the wall flush, so you can actually put your trim on. And again, it's easier if you only have to do one side of that. It basically cuts your workload in half. 50% of the work. Build on our successes, right? All right, so trim. So what I'm using for trim is the same stuff as the siding, which is the ash pieces. I ripped them down to 2.5 inches square stock, basically, which means there's no profile, so I can cut my 45 or my miter on both sides. Keep flipping. And to the people at the back of the class, calling this a skill saw is kind of like calling a tissue a Kleenex. It's just a brand. So this is a circular saw. I know it's not a skill saw. It's a Makita circular saw because it's got a round saw blade. I got some flack from that. It's not a skill saw, it's a circular saw. It's true, but again, a Kleenex isn't a Kleenex, it's a tissue. Again, we're talking brand names. It's local colloquialism? Is that how you say that word? The local term. If you ask somebody for a skill saw around here, they're gonna hand you this thing, whether it's a circular saw or a skill saw. Anyways, that's my skill saw rant. Let's make some trim with my circular saw. This is what we got so far. We've got our outdoor cladding done. We've got our windows in, we've got our doors in. But you gotta tune in next time to see what's inside.